What if success isn't about luck, but mastering your mindset? Dive into Personal Evolution Podcast, where John and Lisa break down self-improvement, manifestation, and mental mastery. Inspired by Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, and the Law of Attraction. Want more? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your breakthrough starts now.
Hey, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Hi, everyone.
We are pretty fired up today, actually.
Yeah, definitely. We just watched this YouTube video, and honestly, it's been kind of buzzing around in my head since.
Same here. It's that Alex Hormozi one, 24 Hard Truths That Separate Winners from Losers, on the Chris Williamson channel.
That's the one. Seriously, if you listening haven't seen it, you really should check it out. It's impactful.
It really is. It's like, it just grabs you, gives you that dose of reality. Hormozi's style is so direct.
Totally. No fluff.
None at all.
Yeah.
Just straight talk about what it actually takes. I was, completely hooked.
Me too. And his energy is just, wow. But what I found really powerful was how he takes these ideas, things we sort of know, and just reframes them, makes them stick in a different way. We weren't just nodding along. We were thinking,
okay, how do I do that?
Exactly. How do you apply it?
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to unpack a bit for you today. We've kind of gone through it, pulled out some key insights.
Those hard truths he talks about.
Right. Things we think offer some, genuinely valuable perspective. The mission, like always, is to help you get the key info quickly and properly.
And Hormozi's approach is perfect for that. Cuts right to the chase.
Okay, so let's get into it. He kicks off with something we all deal with. Procrastination. That first hard truth.
Is it putting off the stuff we don't like? It often takes up way more mental space, more energy than just doing it.
It's self-inflicted pain, yeah.
And I loved his idea of pulling the thread, Yeah,
explain that a bit.
Well, it's like that first tiny action, that's the hardest part. But once you just pull that thread.
The whole thing starts to unravel, often easier than you thought.
Exactly. It's about breaking that initial resistance, that inertia.
Right, and the flip side, he points out, is that avoidance. That becomes its own habit.
Oh, yeah. The more you delay, the easier it is to keep delaying. Creates a cycle.
So the counter is just immediate action. Do it now.
Which ties into his next point about personal power.
Yes. How did he define that again? It was quite specific.
He said power is the distance between thought and reality.
Okay.
So the smaller that gap, like the faster you act on an idea or a task, the more powerful you effectively become.
Less time spent just thinking about it.
Exactly. It's not about endless planning for every little thing. It's building that bias for action. I mean, think about it. How often do we overthink something really simple?
Constantly. Okay, so the core truth there is shorten the gap, think, then do. Don't get stuck just analyzing.
Just act.
Then he shifts gears a bit, talking about focusing on inputs, not just outcomes. The rule of 100. That one really made me think.
Me too. The core idea there
is that focusing on the actions, you can control your inputs.
Like making 100 calls or writing for 100 minutes or whatever it is.
Right. Measurable actions. That's more effective than just fixating on a result you can't directly control.
Yeah, it shifts your energy to what's actually in your hands.
Yeah,
you contrast it with being open to goal, where you just work till you hit the target.
Which still requires effort, obviously.
Sure, but the rule of 100 is about the consistency of those defined actions. It's systematic.
Exactly. It's like saying get 10 clients feels huge, maybe overwhelming. But saying make 100 outreach attempts, that's a process. You do that, and the clients become more likely. It's about trusting the process.
So the hard truth is, focus on the engine, the work itself, not just staring at the speedometer hoping it goes up.
Well put. And that focus on the work, the fundamentals, it carries into his next point.
That the biggest wins often come from just doing the basics, but doing them relentlessly, consistently.
Yeah, we're always looking for the magic bullet, the secret hack.
Right. But he's saying the most reliable truths, the things that work, they're often the ones we already know.
We just struggle to actually do them, day in, day out.
It's the implementation gap. Doing, not just knowing.
So less about finding a new strategy, more about executing the ones you know work.
Right.
Rigorously.
Which connects to that point about bad things. How they don't just come in threes.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. One bad thing can snowball if you let it.
Exactly. So the takeaway isn't just be resilient, bounce back.
It's more proactive.
Yeah, it's about stopping that first negative thing from causing a cascade, controlling your reaction so it doesn't trigger 5 other problems.
Like stopping the dominoes after the first one falls.
Precisely. And he even mentioned anti-fragility, the idea of actually getting stronger from the hit, not just surviving it.
Love that concept.
Yeah.
So hard truth.
Mhm.
One setback doesn't have to wreck everything. Contain it. Learn from it even.
Which leads straight into managing emotions, right? Creating that space between a feeling and your action.
Yes. What was the core principle there?
That consistent execution often means you can't wait until you feel like it. You have to detach the action from the immediate emotion.
He used his own content creation as an example, didn't he?
Yeah, realizing he could make good stuff even on days he felt terrible. You build consistency by not letting fleeting feelings dictate your actions.
And there's a real effect there, isn't there? Like pushing through actually build willpower.
Apparently so, yeah. Strengthens that part of the brain.
Okay, so the hard truth. Act despite feelings. Don't wait for motivation. Build the muscle.
Then there was that fantastic reframe about opportunity and failure.
Oh yeah, the difference between how successful people and, let's say, normal people view things.
Exactly. Successful people see an opportunity in every failure, while others tend to see the potential failure in every opportunity.
It's all about interpretation, isn't it?
Completely. How do you frame a setback? Is it a dead end or is it data?
A lesson. That perspective shift is crucial for the long haul.
So the hard truth, your mindset literally shapes your reality when things get tough.
Find the lesson.
Don't just focus on the loss.
Then he talks about the shittiness of stuff. His words.
Yeah. The inherent pain involved in growth, but also in stagnation and decline.
What's the key insight there? That pain is unavoidable.
Pretty much. Or life's discomfort is almost a constant when you're striving, when you're building something. It's not something to run from entirely.
It's a signal.
Yeah, maybe a signal of engagement, of pushing boundaries. The goal isn't zero pain. It's making sure you're not suffering needlessly and maybe changing how you relate to that discomfort.
Like it's the price of admission for making progress.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, it's about separating discomfort from the idea of failure, which links perfectly to the power of reframing itself.
Absolutely. The core idea there.
That things aren't objectively good or bad, they just are. It's our perception that makes them seem one way or the other.
Right. He used that Rory Sutherland quote, "Things are not what they are, things are what we think they are."
Such a powerful idea.
And reframing challenges, consciously seeing them as opportunities, that dramatically changes your ability to push through. That therapist question he mentioned.
What would it take for this to be amazing?
Yeah. That's such a great tool for instantly shifting perspective on a bad situation.
Definitely trying that one.
Yeah.
So, hard truth. Your perception is your experience. Master the reframe.
Then he got into hard work being the goal. Not just the way to get the goal, but the goal itself. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was a twist. How did he explain that?
That the act of working hard, like truly emptying the tank each day, that becomes the primary objective. The outcome, the result, is almost secondary.
Secondary to what?
To who you become through that effort.
Mm.
It allows you to feel satisfied daily, based purely on your input, your work ethic.
Ah, okay. So it's about finding fulfillment in the doing, in the struggle
Yeah.
itself.
The hard truth. Find the reward in the work, not just waiting for the prize at the end.
And that ties beautifully into the final point we pulled out. We don't rise to the standards we have when others are watching.
We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. Oof. That one hits home.
It really does. The core message there is pretty clear, right?
Absolutely. Your real character, your true level of competence and commitment, it's defined by what you do when nobody's checking. The unseen hours.
That internal drive, that personal accountability, that's what builds sustainable success.
Building your own inner scorecard, not just playing for the audience.
So the hard truth, maybe the hardest of them all,
Yeah.
the work no one sees. That's the work that actually matters most.
Powerful stuff.
So powerful. And wow, that kind of brings us toward the end of this deep dive into some of those key ideas from Alex Hormozi.
We covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah, from taking that immediate action, focusing on inputs,
To reframing challenges, embracing consistency.
and that huge final point about the unseen work.
I think the main takeaways really boil down to the importance of decisive action. Focusing on what's actually in your control.
Yeah.
Shifting how you look at obstacles, committing to the long game.
And just recognizing that it's the private effort, the stuff behind the scenes, that truly builds success.
Spot on.
So that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about all these hard truths we just talked about, which one kind of hits you the most right now, where you are currently?
Yeah, which one resonates?
And maybe what's one tiny action, that pulling the thread idea, what could you do today to start living that truth a little bit more?
Exactly. Like, where could bridging that gap between thinking and doing make the biggest impact for you right now? Just something to consider.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah.
We really hope you got some valuable insights out of this.
Yeah, we really appreciate you spending the time exploring these pretty powerful ideas with us.
Until our next deep dive, keep learning, keep thinking.
And keep taking action.
Absolutely. Farewell for now.
See you next time.
That's it for today, but we want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What resonated most? Let's keep the conversation going. Hit that like button if this added value, and subscribe for more mindset-shifting content. Until next time, stay hungry, stay growing.